Ohio State just finished the greatest 4-game stretch, maybe in college football history,
I think that's
against
fair.
against four of the biggest brands ever in the sport. I mean, just pause and think about it. Double-digit wins against Tennessee and Oregon, beating Texas and Notre Dame, and double-digit wins as well. Unbelievable. Coming off of the Michigan planting a flag on their home field logo to this. I mean, what a run this was in the playoffs. One of the most talented teams of all time. I think one of the greatest college football teams we've seen recently. They have those 2 blemishes. It's funny. I was at the game with my brother, and he said it's almost like a bad look on Ryan Day. Like, how did this team have 2 losses? Like winning this championship so easily, and playing this in the playoff almost makes it look worse. But just hats off to Ryan Day to get the guys to bounce back, and the leaders of Ohio State, Jack Sawyer and Will Howard, to go on this run. Really, really remarkable. I think it's one of the best runs we've seen.
You say it's the greatest 4-game stretch. I think at this point, Ohio State fans should be able to say that they have the most deserving champion we've ever seen.
No doubt.
When you think about what has to happen now
for sure
through the college football playoff, what you have to do to win a championship now is such a heavy lift. It's just and how they had to win to get there. This is wild. And if we had started the whole year, if we go back to last summer when we first started this pod, and we sat there and said, okay, what we're going to get is Ohio State's going to lose to Michigan, and then they're going to have to go through Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, and Notre Dame to win a national championship. Like, that is college football legacy after legacy.
But also add on top of it that Ohio State beat Penn State in the regular season. Another top 5 team. So Ohio State on this path has beaten 5 of the best teams in the country. And really, they did it making it look really easy in the whole process. So I would say hardest earned, most obviously, the longest road to get here, adding in the fact that Ohio State was playing in week 1 of the college football playoff, as was Notre Dame, and incredibly impressive to overcome the injuries that Notre Dame suffered throughout the season and throughout the playoffs. But Kirk Herbstreit made this point on the broadcast while we're giving Ryan Day his flowers. He was talking about how difficult it is to be the head coach at Ohio State. And look, I understand that he's getting paid handsomely to do it. So it's really easy for a lot of people to say, okay, cry me a river, Ryan Day. But I think we all know that Ohio State fan base, for as much as Ohio State has achieved under Ryan Day, it was never enough. Nothing was ever going to satisfy this Ohio State fan base until they won a national championship. And I still think there's probably a fraction of the fan base that is like, that's great that we won a national championship and all, but we lost to Michigan. 0-4 against Michigan over the last 4 years. So it's almost like you just can't please everybody. And I do feel like Ryan Day and his family has probably been going through it over the last few years of just wanting more, and Ryan Day not being able to deliver on the big stage. So hats off to Ryan Day. Kudos to Ryan Day for finally being able to break through and win the big one, and finally kind of hush all of the chatter that's been going on around him and that program over the last few years.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how when Ohio State lost to Michigan, the only thing I heard Ohio State fans say was, Ryan Day is fired unless he wins the Natty. That's what everyone said. And he just turns around and wins the Natty. It's kind of remarkable. And
easy as that.
Ball doesn't lie. BCSA.
Job
I'll win
saved.
the Natty and keep my job.
Yay, we don't have to sell the house. Woohoo. Adam, I did want to ask you, though, you were at the game. What was the fan base ratio? Like, on the broadcast, it looked like 80% Ohio State fans. There was a lot of red.
So, I think, and I thought the same thing from where I was sitting, but the way the cameras are, like, that's the Ohio State side, and I was on the Notre Dame side. I would say it was probably like closer to 50-50.
Okay.
It certainly looked that way. Like, it was a lot of red on that one side of the field. I thought it was pretty close. I mean, I saw there was a lot of green on the side I was on. So I would say it was pretty close. There was a lot of, I was walking in the game, there was a lot of fighting going on with the fan base. A lot of screaming at each other. Ohio State fans calling Notre Dame fans annoying.
I don't know why I just raised my eyebrows. I'm 0% surprised.
Like, two fan bases that, like, without a doubt, just start fighting with each other. So it was intense though. There were some emotions, and even I was leaving the game, like, in the fourth quarter. People were starting to leave, and I heard an Ohio State fan say, like, screaming about how they still lost to Michigan. He's like, "How do you lose to Michigan with this team?" So I mean, there's a good look inside the Ohio State mindset right now.